Hello, welcome to this live stream on Money Myths. I am Christina Gomes and I help spiritual entrepreneurs, mentors, teachers, coaches, healers, Akashic records readers, astrology, homies, wherever you fit on this range of facilitating change for people. I am really excited to be sharing why you might be repelling those folks who need your services and your offerings the most. So let's dive in to what is a joy to work with client and what is a client that you probably don't want to be attracting and would it be a waste of your time to attract anyway. So joy to work with clients for me, my specific joy to work with clients, it's not about the problem that I help them to solve alone, although I have identified the problem and the transformation for every one of my programs. And this is important, but it's not the only thing that is important to attracting those clients into your world and into those offers. So joy to work with clients have a certain quality and a certain energy about them. They carry themselves in a certain way. And so some of the qualities and characteristics of my most successful clients and students and my most joy to work with people is they are self-led. They are not people like not everybody's walking around with like insane amounts of anxiety, just going like, I don't know what to do with my life. I'm stuck. People, no matter how empowered they are, do get stuck sometimes. However, they're not, just like staying in that stuckness for too long. Folks who are stuck know that they're stuck, know that there's a better way, and they start looking to get their problems solved. They start looking at how they can solve this problem or how they can make this transformation. And so they start Googling it, they start searching for it in YouTube, they start looking for someone who has gone before, who maybe holds a roadmap or holds a frequency that they vibe with. Basically, your joy to work with clients don't need convincing that they can invest in themselves, that they want to elevate or level up or move on from whatever is going on in their lives now. So for example, to give you some tangible examples, I've worked with coaches who help their people recover after a divorce and want to get back on the dating scene and all of that. And so those folks who are at that moment of like, okay, maybe they're opening up their Bumble account for the first time since their divorce, and having space held for them is going to be really, really potent if that's the work that you do. And they know that already. They're not going, oh, like they don't need to be convinced or taught what a coach is. So even folks who are doing well in their business are still making this mistake around convincing. So this is the first money myth that I want to bust up for you. Okay. You do not need to convince your most joy to work with client that it's okay for them to invest in themselves. It's okay for them to solve their problem. The one that isn't going to get on a discovery call with you and say, show me why you're the best choice, and make you convince them that, coaches are a good investment. Like, no, they're not shopping around for, well, they may be actually. Joy to work with clients probably are looking for a coach, but what sets you apart and what breaks up this money myth is if they see you with a message that connects to what they're going through. And what they're going through is not that they don't feel like they can invest in themselves. It's not that they don't have money or the economy and things like that. Your best clients, the one that are are coming to your calls going like, yeah, this is my situation. This is what's been coming up for me. And I know that hiring somebody, getting myself inside the room, actually moving through this with support is what I need. And so when they come to your page, your content, your Instagrams, they want to feel that you understand them. And so they don't feel understood if you're talking about money all the time. So I'm talking about money here and now to kind of squash these money myths because I see this holding so many creators back, folks who really are doing remarkable work in this world, because there is other remarkable work to be done other than helping people to make money. And just because you want more money in your business, this is a noble desire. This makes a lot of sense. This is what I help my people to create: more money, more clients, but in a deep and aligned way. It doesn't mean that you need to have your message be focused on the things that you are doing to elevate and you are desiring. So you desire more money, but if you do not have more money, then why are we even speaking about money? So it's not that you want to avoid the money conversation, but it just comes in a different place in your funnel. Like when folks get on the call with you and you tell them your price and they do say, okay, that's out of my budget, then maybe you have something that's more in their budget and you can really boldly have that money conversation. I don't shy away from saying, okay, amazing. How much money do you have right now to invest in yourself? And if they only have $50 to invest in themselves, great. I have a self-paced course, but like, why are you getting on the phone with me and wasting my time if like you can get the self-paced courses from my page? And I'm only getting on the phone with people who have applied for my mentorship or who are really interested. There are certain times that I host calls for my mid-ticket offers. I will host a 30-minute call if someone has a few questions, but that's during a launch. So I don't carry around a backpack full of money myths that I need to convince people that I'm a real human. They get that from the kind of content that I put out and the kind of topics that I speak about very intentionally in my content, so that I don't have to convince people that my program is worth it. They already know from my content. So if you are a guide who helps people through their spiritual awakening, so they've just come out of a dark night of the soul and they want to what? What is it that they want? What is it that they desire? If you haven't figured that out yet, this is also why clients can't hear your call home. They don't know what it is that you're doing because you're talking about money, but that's not your mission to help people make more money. And if it is your mission, amazing, glorious, wonderful, then talk about money. So if it is your mission and you're not talking about money, then there's something else going on there that we need to clean up. And that brings me to my second money myth, that if you talk about money, that you're going to repel people. That's a myth. That's a myth. Okay, now where this myth comes from is important because it is true that your clients do not want to feel like a number in your bank account. They don't want to feel a part of your revenue goal. They want to feel a part of your heart and that you truly care about the transformation that you are helping them to create. So I don't just help my clients to make money at all costs. I have actually helped my clients take a pay cut. And this might not be enticing to you if you're in the camp of like, make more money at all costs. Like if you're still making money and how much of it you have means something about you, then you might be in this camp of like, next goal, next goal, next goal. And that's why your joy to work with clients or the people who you really want to serve feel repelled by your energy. You might not even be talking about money and they feel repelled by your energy, because if all of this is a means for you to make it to your next level. And your next level is a financial goal only. And that's going to come across in your message, and it's going to repel people. So the money conversation alone doesn't repel joy to work with clients, but it's the feeling that they might have that they are just a goal for you. And when really your goal should be, or gets to be, I don't like to shit on anybody, but gets to be, how deeply are you mastering your craft? What are the results and the transformations that you're really providing for people through your containers, through your programs, through your offerings, sessions, and services? If you are really seeing people transform before your eyes, and the byproduct of that is their result, and this is fulfilling to you, and that's true, this is going to energetically attract folks, but it's also going to be infused in your message. And so what I want you to know about money is that I don't know if money grows on trees, like in the literal sense, it's paper. And so awesome, it actually does grow on trees. But also now money is digital numbers moving from one digital screen to another digital screen. And then when we take it out and we have it in physical form, we can then trade it in for necklaces, microphones, fancy things, whatever it is that you would love to have. Like, money is a beautiful resource, and you get to be resourced. But when you want to be resourced so that you can be a better guide, so that you can be better off for your people feel that. Your people feel that. So the money conversation and the way that you hold it will either attract folks who also just want to just see you as a means to their end, just see you as I want the result, and don't actually see you as a real human who's been through some things. And so with that wisdom and that in those transmissions that live on your tongue because you have gone through them yourself, it's not just that you read it in a book and now you read something about money in a book and now you're going to teach people about money and this is sort of boring. It's like people want to know that you get them because you have lived the story and the part of the story that they might be stuck in or that they're going through now. And so your stories and the way that you present your offer, if you're talking about money all the time and your goals and your business goals, well, this is just, it's just not cool. It's like, let me put it in an interesting way. So do you remember The Wizard of Oz and the man behind the curtain? So when I was in a writer's retreat, writing my book, The Monk, the Mushrooms, and the Toad, which some of you have purchased. It's so fun. You can purchase this on Amazon. I have her over there. I should have her on the table. There she is. Let me grab her. But I wrote a book and I went to many a writing retreat. I hired a writing coach. I know that extraordinary things are a lot more fun and easeful and come to fruition a lot faster with support. Okay, I know this. So I wrote this book half the time in several different writers' retreats because I needed to be locked away and writing daily. And this has developed my writing practice, and this has activated my voice. And my book has really not much to do with business. There's one chapter on money, but it has everything to do with business, because if you don't have an activated voice, if you don't feel yourself, if you don't understand the depths of why you are here, have a higher purpose above money, then, I mean, having a business it might give you a cash injection. You might, dupe some people into, and nobody's duping anyone, but you might have been duped by people who, had a great copywriter or had AI develop a course that is not based on their transmission. In the world of AI now, any faker can, fart out a course, and that sucks for those of us who have been through things and have developed offerings, programs, and methods and teachings based on our trials and tribulations. So this book is more about my trials and tribulations and all of the things that I ingested, sucked on, snorted, and smoked to try to understand who or what was God. And you'll get to the conclusion if you've ever really studied yoga or any deep spiritual philosophy. We know that money is not God. Money is not the source. We know that God does not live beyond our bones, that it is something that is woven, someone or something or an energy that is woven in the fabric of every moment, every mystical understanding, every cell, everything tiny and large. So the largest celestial bodies are vibrating, and the smallest microbe atom in your body is vibrating, and it's actually vibrating together. And for me, that is God. And you don't have to smoke the wart secretion of a desert toad to understand that. You could start by reading my book and then coming to your own conclusions. I don't make any conclusions that I'm enlightened or that I know God. But I did write a book, and that was an extraordinary feat. And I wanted to talk about that now because my goal in that moment and my goal for writing this book was not to, make $1 million off a book. Books are not that expensive and they take a whole lot of energy. But it was important to me beyond money that my message was shared, that my stories lived beyond my ideas in my head, that my voice is activated again and again. And the edge of my voice was getting this book out. Now, where was I in this story, in this offering? Bringing it back to the myths and why we're here, it is a myth that you need to help people make money in order for you to make money. And your work in the world is incredibly valuable. And if you help people to spiritually awaken or find the God within or find their own spiritual path or talk to their guides so that they can make decisions with much more ease and grace and don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching programs, they can learn in your program to talk to their spiritual guides. This is a course from one of my clients, and then they save hundreds and thousands of dollars. And the thing is that I have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into my business and into my business learnings, but you don't have to. That was my path. And I went on that path because I never thought that I would be somebody who could afford a $50,000 VIP program. I got flown out to meet my coach. I had 3 coaches by my side, and it changed my life. And the investment was the first part. So investing in yourself, it doesn't have to be something that you need to convince yourself. If you're in alignment with the ever expanding universe, who is always upping her game, right? The universe is literally expanding, who is always upping her game, who is always expanding. If you're naturally aligned with that expansion, then you will be aligned with understanding what is appropriate for you to invest in and what is the energetic exchange that is appropriate for receiving. But also the other way around is that your people, just plain and simply, to make it clean, need to be in energetic alignment in order to receive your teachings, wisdom, and programs and methods. And that's just it. Money is clean. You are a service provider. You're not somebody's, hired friend that you need to talk to them for free forever. Of course, you have protocols and you have methods for bringing somebody off of social media where they're getting free content and your wisdom and grace for free, and into a sales journey where eventually they can get on the phone with you. Or if you're like me and you don't get on the phone for certain programs, amazing. For a certain money amount, you're allowed to have boundaries. And I do not get on the phone with just anybody for a couple $100 at this stage of my game. And so the money myth that I want to help bust up now is that you need to do everything for free in order to convince somebody that you care. No, your content can have the transmission that you understand what they are going through, and that you are here to provide a service that is going to get them a real transformation. So I love connecting with my clients. We become like a family inside my containers. And why? Because I'm not leaking my energy over here and over there. I know where I show up for free. I know when I show up for free. I know that I add a lot of value in my free and low cost offerings. But if folks want the results, the transformations, then they're going to want to hire me. They're going to want to get inside the room. And it's not just for me and for my bottom line and for my business. It's so that they have some skin in the mother trucking game. You probably heard this phrase before, but when you have skin in the game means money down, invested. When your people have money down, they're invested, the universe starts playing with you. Okay? The universe starts playing with you. Because money is just an indicator of what we value. Money is not anything about your worth. Your worth has nothing to do with how much money you've been able to create in your business. So money now doesn't mean that you're going to make more money and just keep making more money and keep making more money. It doesn't mean that. You get to share your message and you get to increase the capacity to output more messages and attract your clients and increase the amount of money and clients that you're holding, increase that capacity within your nervous system. That's very beautiful. And you get to expand with how much you can hold and how much you can circulate, but you're not going to do that by, just looking at your bank account and saying, okay, who would want to hire me because I only have this much in my bank account, or I haven't made a lot of money in my account yet. Why are you talking about money and teaching about money? No one needs to know what's in your bank account. And your service is much more meaningful than money. So even my service is much more meaningful than money. My people don't hire me to grow their bank accounts only. A big old bank account and money in the bank is a byproduct of your activated voice. It's a byproduct of your message. Money comes from your ability to express the true value of working with you. And the true value of working with you has nothing to do with how much money is in the bank. And so if you are unconsciously connecting your worth to your money, your worth to how many clients you called in last week, then we want to unravel that. And the best place to do that is inside my school, the Conscious Creative Business School. So right now, I have written another book. So this is my memoir. It's not about money. It's not about business. But I have just put out my book for the second time, Rhythm, Ritual, and Resonance. So it's called Rhythm and Ritual, The Lost Art of Resonance in Business. Now, you're either repelling people or you're resonating with them. Now, you can certainly have a money conversation without repelling people. But if you want to call people in who are not digging around in the bargain bin for their transformation, then you just get to become someone who understands that your worth is not at the bottom of that bin, in the next low cost course, in that, launch calendar, which is very interesting that I just said that, because when you get the free book, you have an opportunity to get my unique launch calendar that helps you to launch in alignment with your rhythm, with who you are, with the goals that you have beyond money. And so you may have downloaded spreadsheets that are like, this is your money goal, money, 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 money. And I want you to understand how much money is available for you, but I want you to understand how it's available for you. And the two things that sell your offer are your words, so your message, and your energy. And the thing about your energy is your energy will transform your words naturally. So if you are really contracted because you haven't met a revenue goal, some arbitrary number that you are connecting with your worth somehow, then your message is going to not really be the vibe for those kinds of people that are not looking for cheap, but that are looking for a real transformation and who are looking for a real supportive human. So, Rhythm, Ritual, and Resonance is my free book for now, and it shows you different kinds of ways to increase your energetic capacity, to align yourself with the planet Jupiter, the planet of abundance, who is expansive. And astrology is the study of archetypes. It is not the study of where the planets are in the sky right now. So some astrologers love to look at transits, and it is interesting that when a planet is transiting something in your natal chart, it will activate those archetypes. So it could be cool to look at the transits, like where is the moon now, and if it's touching your moon, or if it's touching your Chiron placement, if it's touching certain things in your chart, then it's going to activate those archetypes. But at the base of it all, the root of it all is depth psychology, and it's activating those archetypes. Okay. And so we can activate those archetypes no matter where the planets are now in the night sky, and no matter what your natal chart says. So in my programs, and especially the upcoming one starting in June called Rhythm, Ritual, and Resonance, we are going to be looking at your natal chart, but we also look at your human design, because it's all energy and it's all archetypes. We live in a symbolic world. So when you are at, like, human design for me is not about predicting the future. It's not about saying that you're not going to be able to invite people into your programs because you're a projector. It's not about contracting. It's about expanding into the different archetypes that we don't have activated in our lives now. So there are shadow sides to these archetypes, and there are siddhis, superpowers, to these archetypes. And so every story, every myth, every archetype, so every archetype and every planet comes with its own myth. And when I share with you the myth of this and the story, those archetypes get activated in you unconsciously, but I like to take everything to the conscious. So we're working with the unconscious mind, we're reprogramming the subconscious, but we're taking everything to the conscious. So the conscious creative business school is about one part business and the other part unraveling the subconscious programming, bringing it to the conscious so that you can intentionally create a business that people are attracted to. So people are either resonating with your message, or they're resonating with your energy, or you're repelling them. And if you are only worried about money and you are not taking big leaps in yourself, if you don't trust yourself, then that is going to be reflected in your client attraction. So you're going to get on the phone with people who don't trust themselves. You're going to get on the phone with people who are looking for cheap and ask you for discounts. Nobody asks me for a discount. They are afraid to ask for a discount. The audacity to ask for a discount. You want a low-cost program? Amazing. I have that for you. Free Your Creativity / freeyourcreativity.org/let's create. I have my self-paced programs for you. I'm not getting on a long, drawn out sales conversation for $50. Like, no, like I can create $50 another way. And I'm not going to convince or prove my worth for $50 or for any amount of money. Okay. And this is transmitted in my energy and in my messaging. People know that they need to show up a certain way around me because I have standards and I don't lower them. And that's how they are going to elevate to have certain standards in their business. Am I very friendly with my clients? Yes. Do I love when they message me a funny reel? Amazing. I love that. But I am not here to be like a bestie, to just, I have friends. Like, I have friends. Like, I'm not here to be a bestie. I'm your biz bestie. But most people hire me to get a real transformation. And these are the hard truths that I'm transmitting about money that get my people better results. And so if you are hoarding money and like saving for a rainy day, then you're going to get on the phone with people that you need to convince and prove that they should invest in themselves. No, I have invested $100,000 in my business, and that is felt. I say that in a few places in my pages and on my website. I say it sometimes on my live streams, but it is felt that I am somebody who trusts myself to get an ROI without my coach needing to be perfect or do the work for me. That's not coaching, that's codependency. And so we eradicate codependency in the Conscious Creative Business School, because codependency and a lot of that is unconscious. And a lot of times we are unconsciously creating the familial relationships that we had growing up. This is where psychology and archetypes come into play. If you have a mother wound, if you are not connected to the superpower sides of Cancer, who is ruled by the moon, which is a mother archetype, and you're not connected to the superpower sides of that, then you may be connected to the martyr sides of things. So you may be connected to the over-giving or the people-pleasing or needing to prove. And the best way to activate the superpower of the mother or Cancer or the moon is to look to these archetypes. What is the most, if you didn't have a very good, if you didn't have a very good impression of a mother growing up, and your mother people pleased, or your mother fat shamed, or your mother wasn't nurturing, then we can't look to the past and blame our mothers for where we are now, but we can look to the mother in the sky, which is the moon, and we can see how she works in rhythms, and we can use her symbols and commune with her energy to elevate and resonate at the frequency that is going to be most attractive to clients that don't need convincing and that don't want to recreate the familial dynamics that they had growing up. Because I am nobody's mother in my programs. I might be a weird, crazy aunt, but like, I don't accept projections in my world, never mind in the sales journey and on sales calls. The moment I see a projection of somebody's like, hey, you need to be like this, or you need to nurture me in this way, we're not doing that here. That's why we look to the sky. What are the archetypes? What are the qualities that there's a gap in our energy? There's a gap in our energy that we can provide for ourselves, because your coaches and your mentors and your healers, they're not your saviors. They're people who have their own goals and dreams and desires. And hopefully they don't see you as money, but their mission is there to serve you and to help you. And they do not need to convince, and you do not need to be convinced. So why do you think that your people need to be convinced to invest in themselves? They don't. They don't. Your best, most joy to work with client is already saving the money to get this activation. They want to get in your world. They want to hire a mentor. They know that they want to fall in love again. They know that they want the best health of their life. They know that they're struggling or stuck in a certain area of their life, but that doesn't mean that they're floundering around not knowing what they want. And so if your message is only speaking to people who are like hyper anxious, who can't get out of bed in the morning. Those are the people that don't feel worthy enough to invest in themselves. And it is not your job to help everybody feel worthy. People need to go on a self-worth journey. That is everybody's mission. So they need to have a certain level of worth and a certain level of self-respect to even get on the phone with you, if that's the next level for you. And that's the standards that I hold. Nobody's going to be, wagging a finger at me in my space. And I have fired clients before that start, and this is ancestral, okay? I'm half Black. And when I start noticing that people feel, especially white women, feel that they've paid me a little bit of money and now I'm their slave and I need to do the work for them, I fire them. It's written in my contract. So this really actually gets me activated and fiery because I'm nobody's slave, and even if somebody has given me a little bit of money. So I hold certain standards of who gets to be in my world, who gets to be in my containers, and I can connect to people's energy. You can connect to people's energy, but you need to have those touch points. So do you have an application? Do you have a sales call that you go on? Do you have a vetting process to make sure that folks are not cuckoo nuts trying to recreate your familial drama and their trauma in your places? Or are they really coming to you for support? Are they coming to you for friendship, or are they coming to hire you for support? I am very willing to be so loving and friendly and nurturing to my clients. And that doesn't mean that I need to turn myself inside out in my content for folks for free. And think about that. When you are not resourced for your clients, how are you able to deliver a quality of service for them? So money is clean and clear. Money is clean and clear. People are hiring you to provide a service. They're not hiring you to, give away your soul to them, right? There's no amount of money that would make me cross my boundaries and pick up my phone at 3 a.m. because one of my clients is calling. This is not a crisis hotline, okay? Like, this is a professional service that you provide. And I know that you might be working in the deep and spiritual realms. And so these energies might have gotten convoluted. So I want you to hold your energy strong. I want you to cultivate your energy. And that work is done inside my book, Rhythm and Resonance, Rhythm and Ritual, The Lost Art of Resonance, because you are either repelling clients who are already ready to invest, or you're resonating with them through your energy, through your message, through the way that you carry yourself. And all of that is about activating your voice in alignment with who you truly are. And if you are crossing your boundaries, if you are people pleasing, or you are trying to convince people that they should have enough self-worth to invest in themselves, then you are talking to the wrong people. You're talking to disempowered people, and you're inviting more disempowerment into the online space. So if you are really an empowerment facilitator, although let's get you a better title, but if you're really here to empower a certain kind of person to get a certain kind of result, then let's get you making empowered content pieces with an activated voice that is speaking to the most empowered version of my clients, because of your clients, because my empowered clients, they don't need me to tell them that they can't fuck around in my content. They don't need in my containers. They don't need me to tell them that if they don't take action, that they're not going to get the result. They don't need me to tell them that I'm not going to do the work for them. They don't need me to yell at them about that. They come to me ready to go, and it's so much fun in my containers because my clients already know who they're on the edge of being. And so they come asking really beautiful questions. They come really vulnerable. They come they come ready to invest in themselves, but also ready to invest the time. And it's such a different quality of service for me. And it's so much more fulfilling for me. And it's going to be more fulfilling for you to really start sharing a message that resonates with joy to work with clients who are already ready to invest. So let me I didn't really go very clear 1, 2, and 3, but some money myths that we covered today are that you don't have to convince your people that investing themselves is a good idea. Okay. They're already looking. Your best clients are already looking to invest in themselves, and they want to hear the message. They want to hear the story that has them understanding that you've been through it too. And then you do not want, another money myth is that you can only make money if you've made money. And this is not true. It doesn't matter if you're starting at 0 clients, 0 audience size, 0 monies in your business bank account. None of that has any indicator of how much money is available to you and how much money you can make, because your clients are not money. Your clients are humans that can be transformed by your service. And then you do not need to go across your boundaries and give everything away for free in order to be paid. You need to know where your agreements are. Is your velvet rope? How much are you willing to give? Like, one of my potential clients was messaging me last night all around things that were, they were funny. There was what she was going through in that moment, but she hadn't yet joined and jumped in. And so I gave her the direction of like, yes, you're joining a group program, and all of this can go inside of our community group. There's so many more people to connect with just other than me. And it's not that I don't care about folks in my audience, but like, in order to have this back and forth exchange, like, this is where it's appropriate. This is where it's appropriate. So until there is an energetic reciprocation, I'm not going to pretend to be your friend. And the other thing too is, because I found this very interesting, like, people feel, I'm a great friend. Okay. I have a lot of friends, and I've been studying friendship. And so, but I don't just let anybody be my friend either. So it's like, I'm not just letting anybody be my client, but I'm also not just letting anyone be my friend. So like, I have excommunicated friends who acted up. And just last year, I cut off someone who was a friend for a long time and was my best friend because they were violent in my home. And I just don't tolerate that. And not that anybody is doing that in my messages, but it's like, no, like, I hold standards for my friends, and I hold standards for people in my audience. And we will become friends, but relationships take time to build. Relationships take time to build. So how does that matter for you? It's like, you are building relationships with people in your audience that you don't even know about through your content. And so they may come to you feeling like they know you. And that's really beautiful. And it is okay to get to know them before you let them into your program or let them into your life. And certainly don't need to cross your boundaries. I have office hours even for people who pay me. So I'm not just like chit-chatting with my clients all day, every day. We have office hours because my containers are designed to really help people transform. And I don't think chit-chatting is like the way to help people to activate their voice. And actually, if the problem is that you're not attracting clients, like, are you having an energy leak chit-chatting? Are you having an energy leak chit-chatting with a bunch of people? And could you close that energy leak and spend that time writing, creating content that speaks to your next level client? And do you need to be chit-chatting with a friend or fighting with your partner, or can that energy be reclaimed and direct your creative energy, which words are your creative energy, towards writing, speaking, and sharing an elevated message with an elevated version of your client? So that's all for me for now. All of this, if you want to go deeper, let's start with the book. It's completely free. And anybody who downloads my book, you're going to get invited to a free masterclass on June 10th, which is on the Sagittarius full moon. And in this Sagittarius full moon, I'm going to help you to double your revenue without doubling your audience size and without doubling your workload. So we're going to go through all that in the masterclass, and you're automatically invited. It's going to be a super amazing live masterclass, me and you in a Zoom room. So I'm also going to be able to answer your questions. If you can't make it live, you can input your questions beforehand. I'm talking to everybody personally who signs up for you to ask your questions, because I'm here for the intimacy. I am here to be your biz bestie, but I mean, folks who haven't invested in themselves, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm not here to chit chat with every single Tom, Dick, and Harry on the internet. But I am really, really devoted to my paying customers and clients because I am valued to do that. There's an energy exchange there. And so if you want more of a mentor, then hire them. And then you will be naturally primed for that to happen to you, for people to not waste your time, to not be chitty chatty, to not have you convince them that you're worthy of money. You are there to provide a service, and you will be able to pour much more deeply into your clients and your paying customers when you're not turning yourself inside out for free on the internet. So let's develop your sales journey so you know where and when you are showing up. Let's develop your boundaries and agreements and your frequency, because that is what is going to attract you the kinds of clients who pay in full, who don't hem and haw over the decision, and who do not need a long, drawn-out sales process to get inside your world. So this has been so much fun, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.